If you think sales alone will keep your business safe, think again. Most small business owners focus only on bringing in more revenue, but sales alone don't guarantee a stable business. In this video, you'll learn 7 financial goals every small business owner should set before it's too late. If you neglect goal 5 and 6, your business will collapse within a few years. Number 1. Improve working capital every quarter. Working capital is the fuel that keeps your daily business engine running. It's the difference between what you own in short-term assets and what you owe in short-term liabilities, and it tells you whether your business can pay its bills without panic. Many small business owners only look at working capital once a year, usually during tax season, but that's a mistake. A quarterly review gives you enough time to catch a problem before it becomes a crisis, and enough frequency to spot trends in how your cash is moving. Cash shortages rarely happen overnight. They usually develop gradually through slow customer payments, excessive inventory purchases, poor forecasting, and uncontrolled business expenses. A business can report strong profits while having very little cash available because accounting profit and available cash are completely different financial measurements. Inventory sitting on shelves represents money that cannot currently pay employees, suppliers, rent, marketing expenses, or unexpected operating costs. Customers who delay paying invoices force the business to wait for cash while operating expenses continue arriving according to normal payment schedules. Unexpected repairs, seasonal slowdowns, or economic uncertainty can quickly reduce available cash when working capital has not been managed carefully. Understanding where cash becomes trapped is the first step toward improving financial stability and avoiding unnecessary borrowing during challenging business periods. Start by tracking your current ratio, current assets divided by current liabilities, every 3 months. If that number is dropping, you need to act before your next big expense hits. Improving working capital doesn't always mean cutting costs. Sometimes it means negotiating better payment terms with your suppliers, speeding up how fast you collect from customers, or reducing how much cash sits tied up in unsold inventory. A business with strong working capital can take advantage of opportunities like a bulk discount or a chance to hire a great employee without scrambling for a loan. A business with weak working capital ends up reactive instead of proactive, always putting out fires instead of building for the future. Set a recurring calendar reminder every quarter to sit down, review your numbers, and ask one simple question. Could my business survive an unexpected expense right now without borrowing money? If the answer is no, working capital should be your top financial goal this year, because everything else you want to build depends on this foundation being solid. Number 2, create predictable monthly revenue. Unpredictable revenue is one of the biggest sources of stress for small business owners. One month feels great, the next month feels like a crisis, and that roller coaster makes it almost impossible to plan hiring, marketing, or growth with any confidence. Predictable monthly revenue doesn't mean every month has to be identical. It means you understand your patterns well enough to plan around them instead of being surprised by them. Start by looking at the last 12 to 24 months of sales data and identifying your slow seasons, your peak seasons, and the reasons behind those shifts. Once you understand the pattern, you can build strategies to smooth it out. This might include offering subscription or membership options, creating retainer-based services instead of one-off projects, or building long-term contracts with your best clients. Recurring revenue streams are one of the most powerful tools for stability because they give you a baseline income you can count on, even during slower periods. Predictable revenue also makes it much easier to plan expenses because you're not guessing whether you'll have the cash to cover payroll or rent next month. Investors, lenders, and even potential business partners view predictable revenue as a sign of a well-run business, which can open doors to better financing terms down the road. Set a goal this quarter to identify at least one way you can turn irregular income into something more consistent, whether that's a new pricing model, a loyalty program, or simply better forecasting based on historical data. Number 3. Achieve a debt-to-profit ratio that supports growth. Debt isn't automatically bad for a small business. Used wisely, it can help you buy equipment, expand into new markets, or cover a temporary gap without slowing down operations. The problem isn't debt itself, it's debt that outpaces your ability to profit from it. A healthy debt-to-profit ratio means your business earns enough to comfortably cover its debt payments while still having room left over for reinvestment, savings, and unexpected expenses. To calculate this, divide your total debt obligations by your net profit over the same period. If that number keeps climbing quarter after quarter, it's a warning sign that you're borrowing faster than you're earning, and that pattern can quietly sink even a business with strong sales. Set a target ratio that makes sense for your industry and review it regularly rather than waiting until a lender or investor asks about it. When you take on new debt, always ask whether it will directly increase revenue or efficiency, not just cover a short-term gap. Debt used to buy a revenue-generating asset is very different from debt used to patch a cash flow problem. The second kind tends to repeat itself if the underlying issue isn't fixed. Business owners who manage this ratio well are able to use debt as a growth tool instead of a burden, and they're the ones who qualify for better loan terms because lenders see them as lower risk. Make it a habit to review your debt-to-profit ratio every quarter alongside your working capital, because these two numbers together tell you the real financial health of your business. Number 4. Never depend on one supplier financially. Relying too heavily on a single supplier is one of the most overlooked risks in small business finance. It feels convenient at first. One point of contact, consistent pricing, an easy relationship. But if that supplier raises prices, runs into their own financial trouble, or simply can't deliver on time, your entire business can be disrupted overnight. This risk isn't just operational, it's financial, because a single supplier problem can directly hit your revenue, your customer relationships, and your bottom line all at once. Start by mapping out where your biggest financial dependencies exist. If one supplier accounts for a large share of your costs or your product availability, that's a red flag worth addressing now, before a crisis forces your hand. Building relationships with at least one or two backup suppliers gives you negotiating leverage and protects you from sudden price hikes or supply shortages. It also puts you in a stronger position during contract renewals because your primary supplier knows you have options. This doesn't mean switching suppliers constantly or damaging good relationships. It means having a plan in place so a single point of failure doesn't become a single point of collapse. Set a goal to identify your top financial dependencies this quarter, whether that's suppliers, vendors, or even major clients, and build at least one alternative for each. Diversifying these relationships is one of the simplest ways to protect your business from financial shocks you can't control. Number 5. Build 6-month business survival fund. Every business will eventually face a rough patch, whether it's a slow season, an economic downturn, or an unexpected emergency. A 6-month survival fund is what separates businesses that bend from businesses that break when that moment arrives. This fund should cover your essential operating costs, rent, payroll, utilities, and core expenses for 6 full months without relying on new sales coming in. It's not meant to be touched for everyday fluctuations. It's strictly for genuine emergencies. Building this fund doesn't happen overnight, and that's okay. Start by calculating your true monthly operating cost, then set a realistic percentage of profit to set aside every month until you reach your target. Even 5 or 10% consistently saved adds up faster than most owners expect. Keep this fund in a separate account so it doesn't blend with your regular operating cash and get spent accidentally. Begin by listing your non-negotiable monthly expenses, including payroll, rent, utilities, insurance, software subscriptions, internet, loan payments, accounting services, and any supplier commitments that cannot be delayed. Ignore optional spending and focus only on expenses required to keep the business alive during a difficult period. Once you have that total, multiply it by at least 3 months. Although 6 months of essential expenses provide stronger protection for businesses with seasonal or unpredictable revenue. Open a separate business savings account that is used exclusively for emergencies and never mix those funds with your daily operating account. Keeping the money separate reduces the temptation to spend it on routine purchases. Automate transfers into that account every week or every month, so saving happens without relying on willpower. Even a small automatic transfer creates consistency, and consistency is what builds a meaningful reserve over time. Another effective habit is saving a fixed percentage from every customer payment before paying discretionary expenses. This approach allows the emergency fund to grow naturally as revenue grows. During months with unusually strong sales, resist the urge to upgrade equipment or increase spending immediately. Instead, direct a larger portion of those profits into the reserve. Unexpected income, such as tax refunds, supplier rebates, cashback rewards, insurance refunds, or one-time bonuses, should also be transferred into the emergency fund instead of becoming part of normal spending. This is the goal that gives you real peace of mind, because it removes the panic decision-making that happens when cash gets tight. Business owners without this cushion often make expensive short-term choices, like high-interest loans or steep discounts, just to survive a temporary dip. Business owners with this fund can ride out the storm calmly and keep their business intact on the other side. This is exactly why skipping this goal creates so much unnecessary struggle down the road. Number 6. Reach positive cash flow every month. Profit on paper and cash in your bank account are two very different things, and this gap is where many small businesses quietly run into trouble. You can show a profit on your income statement and still struggle to pay your bills if your cash isn't flowing in fast enough or flowing out too fast. Positive cash flow every month means more money is coming into your business than going out, consistently, not just on your best months. Start by building a simple monthly cash flow forecast that tracks exactly when money comes in and when it goes out. This helps you spot gaps before they become emergencies, especially if customers pay slowly or expenses cluster together. Speeding up collections, sending invoices immediately, offering early payment incentives, or requiring deposits can dramatically improve your inflow timing. On the outflow side, negotiating better payment terms with vendors or spacing out large purchases can ease pressure during tighter months. Positive cash flow gives you the freedom to reinvest in growth, pay yourself consistently, and handle surprises without stress. Businesses that ignore this and only watch profit often get blindsided, discovering too late that healthy sales numbers didn't translate into actual cash on hand when it mattered most. Make monthly cash flow tracking a non-negotiable habit, not an occasional check-in, and you'll avoid one of the most common financial traps small business owners fall into. Number 7. Build a business that can survive a 30% sales drop. This goal is uncomfortable to think about, which is exactly why so many business owners skip it, and exactly why it matters so much. A 30% sales drop isn't an extreme worst-case scenario. It's a realistic possibility that can happen due to economic shifts, seasonal changes, new competition, or unexpected events outside your control. The businesses that survive these moments aren't necessarily the biggest or the most well-funded. They're the ones that planned for the drop before it happened. Start by running the numbers. If your revenue fell by 30% tomorrow, could you still cover payroll, rent, and essential expenses? If the honest answer is no, that's valuable information, not a reason to panic. Use it to identify which expenses are truly fixed and which ones could flex if needed. Building this kind of resilience often means keeping overhead lean even during good times, diversifying your revenue streams so you're not dependent on one product or client, and maintaining the survival fund from Goal 5 so you have breathing room. It also means reviewing contracts and expenses regularly so you're never locked into costs. You can't adjust quickly if sales slow down. Businesses built only for growth often collapse the moment conditions change, while businesses built for resilience can weather the dip and come out stronger on the other side. This is exactly why skipping this goal, along with Goal 5, leaves a business exposed to struggles that could have been avoided with a little foresight. If you found this video helpful, then like, share, and subscribe this channel to get future videos. Thank you for watching this video.